Hello students, welcome to iExamB and embrace the iExamB learning experience with us. Do remember to subscribe to our channel and press on the bell icon so that you can stay tuned and stay updated. अगर आपको कोई भी questions हो, queries हो, doubt हो and you want a clarification with respect to that, you can connect with us through the email ID or the phone number which is displayed on the screen. Now moving ahead with our today's video, तो आज के इस वीडियो से मैं एक सीरीज स्टार्ट करने वाली हूँ with respect to Companies Act and that is basically chapter wise revision of Companies Act. तो कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 के अंदर जो भी इम्पोर्टेंट प्रोविजंस है अंडर द वेरियस चैप्टर्स आई विल बी टेकिंग अहेड दोस इन माय डिस्कशन एंड वी विल बी लुकिंग ऑन दोस इम्पोर्टेंट प्रोविजंस फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑफ द वेरियस कॉम्पिटिटिव लॉ एग्जाम्स. तो हम उन कॉन्सेप्ट्स को समझेंगे, प्रोविजंस को समझेंगे जो कि बहुत जरूरी है फॉर दोस एग्जाम्स. सो वी विल बी गोइंग अहेड विद द चैप्टर वाइज रिविजन. तो मूविंग अहेड विद दैट, सबसे पहले हम देखेंगे व्हाट अ कंपनी इज. बट इसके पहले भी व्हाट अ कंपनी एग्जैक्टली कंपनी होता क्या है इसको जानने के पहले एक और चीज आपको जानना जरूरी है कि ये जो कंपनीज एक्ट आपका है 2013, व्हाट इज द वेरी ऑब्जेक्टिव या पर्पस ऑफ दिस एक्ट. बिकॉज हमें पता है कोई भी एक्ट आता है, अगर लॉ पास होता है, इम्प्लीमेंट होता है, तो देयर इज सम नीड फॉर इट, देयर इज सम ऑब्जेक्टिव और पर्पस विच हैज टू बी अचीव. तो अगर हम कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 की बात करें तो व्हाट इज द ऑब्जेक्ट, व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ द एंटायर कंपनीज एक्ट. तो इन सिंपल वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि बेसिकली अगर आपको एक कंपनी बनानी है, उसको रन करनी है, अपने बिजनेस को चलाना है, तो आपको कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 को फॉलो करना पड़ेगा, उसके प्रोविजंस को वहां पे जो भी प्रोवाइडेड है. एंड बेसिकली द ऑब्जेक्टिव अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस ऑल्सो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड इज कि वो सेफगार्ड करता है इंटरेस्ट जो है शेयर होल्डर्स के, क्रेडिटर्स को, उसको बेसिकली सेफगार्ड करता है. ट्रांसपेरेंसी थ्रू कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस एंड ऑल दैट इज बीइंग टेकन केयर ऑफ. सो बेसिकली इट्स ऑब्जेक्टिव यू कैन से फ्रॉम द वेरी birth or coming into existence of the company, it starts from there till the company is being wound up, or we can say till the death of the company. The company's act has to be followed by those who have incorporated a company. So from the birth or from the very existence of the company till it is being wound up, that is its death, for that entire duration the company's act has to be followed, and that is the objective because it is laying down the rules, the regulations with respect to the formation of the company, the running of the business or the management of the company, all those things, and then finally how the company should come to an end. All these things have been taken care of. Now coming to the next question, that is what a company is. अब ये company जो है, ये जो form की जाएगी as per Companies Act, ये होता क्या है basically? Has that been defined under the Companies Act? So you can write in the comment section what does a company mean or which section of the Companies Act basically defines a company. Now I'll be moving ahead कि ये कंपनी जो होती है ये होती क्या है. ठीक है, कंपनीज एक्ट में एक्चुअली डिफाइंड है, सेक्शन आप कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखेंगे. तो कंपनी को बेसिकली सिंपली एज पर कंपनीज एक्ट इफ वी अंडरस्टैंड इट इज बेसिकली डिफाइंड ओवर देयर एज अ कंपनी विच हैज बीन इनकॉर्पोरेटेड अंडर दिस एक्ट, दैट इज द 2013 एक्ट और एनी ऑफ द प्रीवियस कंपनी लॉ. इसको एक्चुअली अगर हम एक सिंप्लीफाइड तरीके से समझे बेस्ड ऑन द वेरियस फीचर्स एंड ऑल विच हैज बीन देयर विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू अ कंपनी बाय द वेरियस jurist and all, based on that we can say a company is an artificial legal person. It's an artificial legal person which is having a separate entity of its own legal existence or separate legal entity. It is distinct from its members which is having perpetual succession and limited liability. अब ये जो features यहाँ पे हैं इस क्या मतलब हो गया. अगर हम बोले कि artificial legal person है, what does that mean? Because companies they don't have biological existence. Okay, उसका कोई biological existence तो नहीं है, कोई अपना brain, hand, feet ये सब तो है नहीं. So it's basically in the contemplation of law that the company exists. Through the registration which it goes ahead, artificial legal person is being created which can basically own the property, which can sue or it can be sued and all. So it basically created by law. It's in the contemplation of law that this artificial legal person is being created. As I mentioned, उसका कोई biological existence obviously नहीं होता है. So by way of law it comes into existence. It is a separate legal entity आप कह सकते हो या identity it is having of its own that is separate and distinct from whom? Its members who have formed it. So separate standing है उसका जो कि distinct है, separate है उसके members से who have basically formed it, and so there is a separate identity which the company actually is having of its own and these members who have formed the company उनका. Perpetual succession, in perpetuity it's एग्जिस्टेंस इज इन परपेचुइटी या परपेचुअल सक्सेशन है, इसका बेसिकली सिंपल में ये मतलब है कि इसके एग्जिस्टेंस को, कंपनी के एग्जिस्टेंस को कोई अफेक्ट नहीं कर सकता है मेंबर्स का आना या जाना। परपेचुअल सक्सेशन बेसिकली आप समझ सकते हो कि एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ द कंपनी जो है ना, दैट इज नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन द लाइफ ऑफ द मेंबर्स और द मेंबर्स लीविंग द कंपनी और ज्वाइनिंग द कंपनी और एनीथिंग एज सच। इट हैज अ परपेचुअल सक्सेशन, इट इज इन perpetuity, it is not affected by its members since it is having a separate identity of its own. And then we have limited liability, जहाँ पे की जो members की liability है that is limited to the extent they have actually agreed to go ahead and contribute. So these are some of the features based on which आप समझ सकते हो कि कंपनी क्या होती है। एक ऐसा लीगल पर्सन होता है जो कि आर्टिफिशियल लीगल पर्सन होता है, जो कि बाय वे ऑफ लॉ उसका एग्जिस्टेंस होता है आफ्टर इट गेट्स इटसेल्फ रजिस्टर्ड एज पर द प्रोविजंस ऑफ द Companies Act. Then when it comes into existence, there is a separate distinct identity which it has from its members जो उस कंपनी को बनाए हैं। परपेचुअल सक्सेशन है क्योंकि मेंबर्स आते हैं जाते हैं, उनका डेथ होता है, बट कंपनी के एग्जिस्टेंस को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। एंड देन लिमिटेड लाइबिलिटी। These are some of the very important features you can say for understanding what a company is. Now next अगर हम बात करें कि कंपनीज एक्ट का जो पूरा इंटायर सेक्शंस है बहुत ही बड़ा है, लेंदी है और थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट भी है समझना। उन कॉम्प्लेक्स चीजों को आपको थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई करना है। यू कैन गो अहेड एंड प्रिपेयर अ सेक्शन समरी विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू दैट। सो आई विल जस्ट शो यू द सेक्शन समरी वी हैव एट iExample. So basically the sections which are very important, you have to go ahead, see which are important. Then like section 1 over here, that is talking about the commencement and application of the Companies Act. तो applicable किन किन कंपनीज पे है, एकदम शॉर्ट और प्रिसाइज में आपको अपने लिए लिखना है, प्रिपेयर करना है नोट, so that it is not only helpful for you to understand the things but most importantly it is helpful to you at the time of revision. आप देख सकते हो जो हमारा प्रिलिमिनरी है, स्टार्टिंग है चैप्टर कंपनीज एक्ट का, वहाँ वेरियस डेफिनेशंस दिए हुए हैं. आउट ऑफ दोस फ्यू यू कैन सी ओवर हियर हाउ यू कैन बेसिकली सिंप्लीफाई देम एंड लर्न देम इज you have to see that from the very beginning. Now further you can see a listed company is there, OPC is there. So what are these type of companies? So when you are studying the types of companies, these are very important. Like listed company which is having its securities listed on the stock exchange. Then one person company OPC हो गया. ये एक नया concept था जो कि 2013 के एक्ट के थ्रू आया था, which is having only one person as its member and all. That is basically for going ahead and doing the business in a more convenient manner. Private company promoters, ये बहुत important आपके concept से जो कि आपको understand करना है. Like private company कौन सी company होगी जहाँ minimum paid up capital हो as may be prescribed होगा. So see the amendments and all also you have to take care of while you are studying. Then articles जो है एक private company का वो restrict करता है transferability of shares and और limit करता है 200 the number of members. So again this was through an amendment which was brought into effect. And it is also prohibiting invitation to public for going ahead and subscribing to its securities is all what a private company means. Then promoter, ये भी एक बहुत important concept है with respect to coming into effect of a company. ठीक है, एक company के existence में आने के लिए ये बहुत ही important है what a promoter is. So you can see over here it has been defined under section 2 clause 69. यहाँ पे क्या defined है? The person who has been named in the prospectus or in the annual return as such, with whose advice, direction, instruction board of directors of the company are accustomed to act and the person who controls the affairs of the company. तो बेसिकली आप कह सकते हो एक प्रमोटर वो है जो कि NCD के कैटेगरी में फॉल करता है. What is N basically? Who has been named as such in the prospectus or the annual return of the company. Then if we talk about the C thing, that is the one who is controlling, the person who is controlling the affairs of the company and all. And D is with respect to the aspect that he जो प्रमोटर है उसके डायरेक्शंस पे जो बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स एंड ऑल है कंपनी के, दे बेसिकली गो अहेड एंड टेक द डिसीजंस विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ द अफेयर्स ऑफ द कंपनी. सो दैट इज व्हाट प्रमोटर इज. सो आप इस टाइप का एक्रोनिम्स भी बना सकते हो जब आप याद कर रहे हो एनसीडी. प्रमोटर इज वन हु इज एनसीडी. ये आप देखो किस तरीके से आपको पढ़ना है, क्योंकि जितना इंपॉर्टेंट आपको कॉन्सेप्ट समझना और पढ़ना है उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप उसको स्टार्टिंग से एक सिस्टमैटिक वे में करो विद शॉर्ट नोट्स, समरीज, एक्रोनिम्स, सो दैट लेटर ऑन रिविजन के लिए एग्जाम के टाइम में आपको हेल्पफुल हो. ना लिफ्टिंग ऑफ द कॉर्पोरेट वेल, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट आप कह सकते हो कंपनीज एक्ट के अंदर. लिफ्टिंग और पियर्सिंग ऑफ द कॉर्पोरेट वेल. तो कॉर्पोरेट वेल होता क्या है पहले वो समझना जरूरी है, एंड देन यू कैन गो अहेड विद द लिफ्टिंग ऑफ द कॉर्पोरेट वेल. सो कॉर्पोरेट वेल इज बेसिकली यू कैन से एक फिक्शियस या इमेजिनरी वेल है दैट इज is basically created between the company and its members. So ये जो distinction है separate legal identity of the company है by way of incorporation and all which it has got, that is basically a corporate way. That incorporation has created the separate legal identity of the company जैसा हमने देखा, and because of that separate legal identity of the company and its members are different, and that is what a distinction between them has been created, is what a corporate veil is. If we talk about lifting or piercing of the corporate veil, it is important कि हमें पता है कि ये जो company है, it's an artificial legal person. It doesn't have its biological existence that it will be taking the decision on its own. Who are the ones who will be doing that? The members will be doing. तो जरूरी नहीं है कि each and every time the members are doing it in the way it is required to be done. In all those circumstances, there is a requirement of ignoring the separate legal identity which the company is having of its own, or to disregard that particular corporate personality. And it is important that those who are behind, the real people who are behind the scene, who are actually managing and controlling the company, they should be held accountable, and that is what is the lifting and piercing. So आप incorporate कर दी अपने company को, आपकी company को एक separate existence मिल गया, आपसे different होगा, separate होगा वो identity. Now that is what is the feature of separate legal entity. But if you are doing any act or you are doing anything while managing that company which is not correct or as per the provisions of the Companies Act, then in that case this separate identity is required to be ignored, disregarded, and you are required to be held accountable for your act. And that is nothing but lifting or piercing of the corporate veil. That can be done in certain circumstances, specifically if we mention statutory provisions के through जो कि Companies Act में है, and judicial interventions के through, that is by the interference of the court, where the courts can go ahead and make the ones who are responsible for those acts accountable. Then moving on to the incorporation of a company and matters incidental thereto. How the incorporation of the company can be done, how a company can be formed, and certain aspects, matters related to that is what chapter 2 is talking all about. So if we talk about that, we have the very first section, which is section 3, which is talking about the formation of the company. So it is basically emphasizing onto the process of legally establishing a business entity. कैसे एक particular company को existence में लाया जाए, form किया जाए. सबसे जो basic आप कह सकते हो step है, that is formation से related, lay down under this particular section 3. So वो basically provide कर रहे हैं entire process of forming a company, जहाँ पे कि कितने लोग उसे बना सकते हैं, then OPC से related क्या important aspects है, all those things they have been basically taken care of. So आप देख सकते हो section 3 formation of company. It has to be in very short and simple ताकि आप समझ सको. So a company has to be formed for a lawful purpose only. It cannot be formed for unlawful purpose. And if it is a public company, वहाँ पे कितने members होने चाहिए? 7 या more होने चाहिए. Then private है तो 2 या more. OPC 1 person company name itself is suggesting, so 1 person होगा. अब ये exam point of व्यू से भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि इससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. पब्लिक कंपनी होगी, प्राइवेट कंपनी होगी, 1 पर्सन कंपनी होगी. देयर आर रिक्वायरमेंट्स विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द नंबर ऑफ मेंबर्स एंड ऑल. इफ 7 इज द मिनिमम इन केस ऑफ पब्लिक कंपनी, इज देयर एनी लिमिट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द मैक्सिमम नंबर? इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर आप कमेंट बॉक्स में दे सकते हो. सेम गोज विद द प्राइवेट कंपनी, बट ये हमने ऑलरेडी देख लिया था, लिमिट्स इट्स मेंबर्स टू 200. सो एंड देन वी हैव OPC with 1 person. So this is what section 3 is talking about. Then there is also a section 3A which is there, which is actually talking about the liability of the member that is there when the required number, जो भी required number है, which is there, which is provided under the law, and the required number of members that is falling short from that limit which has been provided, and still company जो है अपने business को carry on कर रही है, तो उस case में this particular section 3A is providing that the people who are a part of the company at that particular time, or on whose directions that is being taking place, they will be held accountable for all the debts, company's debts that have been incurred and all during that particular period. और ये period जो है, number of members short कर गए हैं from the statutory requirement, and still the company is carrying out the business for more than 6 months. In that case, there will be the liability of the members as per this particular section. Then we have section 4, which is talking about the memorandum of association. Very, very important. So what it is, you have to be very clear. So memorandum of association क्या होता है? एक crucial, very important document है, जो कि provide करता है in and out about the company, the object objective, the scope, operations, limitations, everything that has been detailed in this particular basic document of the company, you can say that is the memorandum of association. It is basically, you can say, serving as a blueprint with respect to the company's activities, और वो guide कर रहा है entire decision making process जो भी company में ली जाएगी. आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो charter of the company है, states the object of the company formation, why the company has actually been formed, and it is determining the relationship of the company with the outsiders, the outside world. So that is basically determined based on this particular basic document of the company. अब कुछ important contents होते हैं जो कि एक memorandum of association में होना चाहिए, जैसे कि name clause, object clause जो होगा, जो कि बहुत ही important है, then registered office, liability, capital clause, association clause. So ये सारे important contents जो है memorandum of association में होने ही चाहिए. अब articles of association क्या हो गया? ये दूसरा basic document है कंपनी से related. ये internal जो भी regulations है, management है, उसको govern करता है. Internal management and operation of the company आप कह सकते हो, that is being regulated by the articles of association. So ये define कर रहा है क्या? जो भी roles और responsibilities हैं directors की, shareholders की, ताकि ensure किया जा सके एक smooth functioning of the entire organization. The bylaws and all of the company is what articles of association is. Regulating the internal management of the company. What entrenchment is? Entrenchment of the articles of association. So basically हम कह सकते हैं entrenchment provision को articles of association में incorporate किया जा सकता है, and if that is being incorporated under the articles of association, then it is very difficult to amend that particular provision जिससे related that entrenchment provision is there. There are certain provisions that are entrenched, or with respect to that there is entrenchment so as to safeguard कह सकते हो certain rights and procedures with respect to that, and which it will be requiring a little more rigorous process so that any modification change that can be done to it compared to the other provisions which are there. अब ये जो entrenchment है introduce किया जा सकता है articles में during the incorporation of the company भी, या फिर later on by special resolution अगर वो public company है, और agreement between all members अगर वो private company है. Then there is a question for you जिसको कि आप answer कर सकते हो in the comment box of this particular video. Can the memorandum of association and articles of the association be altered? क्या alteration possible है as per the Companies Act provisions? You can answer in the comment box. You can also include the section number. For the section 7 है हमारा, that is basically talking about the incorporation of a company. बहुत important है. So details the entire registration procedure and documentation that is required to legally incorporate a company. So आपका company का जो existence है वो ROC के पास register करने के बाद ही आएगा, तभी वो जो features हमने देखे थे वो existence में आएगा, effective होगा वो. For incorporations the most important thing is that there has to be a person who is referred to as a promoter. और already promoter कौन था अगर आपको याद हो तो NCD था. There are certain documents which are required to be filed with the ROC ताकि एक कंपनी को incorporate किया जा सके, उसको legal existence दिया जा सके. उसमें सबसे पहले ये जो आपके दो basic documents हमने देखे थे, memorandum और articles, वो होता है. फिर कुछ declarations होते हैं जो कि दिए जाते हैं by those who are engaged in the formation of the company, those who are named as directors in the articles, then subscribers to the memorandum, the name, address, etc. of subscribers to the memorandum along with DIN. DIN number क्या है? Directors identification number है, which is very important to be obtained by those who want to become a director in a company. Without that you cannot go ahead with being the director. Then certificate of incorporation जो है ROC issue करेगा, and once ROC goes ahead and issues the certificate of incorporation, it will also allot a SIN number, that is corporate identity number, जो कि हमारा कंपनी का यूनिक आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर है. ये बेसिकली आप कह सकते हो एक 21 डिजिट का अल्फा न्यूमेरिक नंबर है, जो कि कंपनी, हर एक कंपनी का अपना डिस्टिंक्ट आइडेंटिटी उस पर्टिकुलर सिन नंबर से होता है, जैसे डिन नंबर से डायरेक्टर्स का होता है. एंड जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट से इंफॉर्मेशन है विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द कंपनी, दैट हैज टू बी मेंटेन्ड एट द रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस टिल द डिसोल्यूशन और कमिंग टू एन एंड ऑफ द कंपनी. देन देयर इज सेक्शन 9 basically there, which is talking about, you can say, the effect of registration. तो basically वो particular section highlight कर रहा है the legal consequences क्या होंगे once a company is being registered. So once a company is being registered under the Companies Act, उसका अपना separate identity, distinct from its members, then perpetual succession, limited liability, all those comes into existence, the features we saw. So with this we come to an end of our discussion with respect to the basic aspects related to the Companies Act. Stay tuned so that you can watch the further videos which I'll be coming up, and the other important videos which we come on a regular basis, and you can make your preparations 50% faster with us at iExamB.